Today, I'm going to unbox Corrupt Bargain, the 1824 presidential election from Decision Games. If you watched my previous video, the one on Modern War issue number 54, I kind of gave a teaser for this one. There was an article for that one in that magazine, and here it is. I'm going to unbox it. But before I do that, I'm going to talk a little bit about why am I interested in political games or election games more particularly. In undergrad, one of my degrees was political science, and the focus of that degree was campaigns and voter behavior. So this has always been somewhat of a little passion project for me to keep up on politics and voter behavior and elections, and actually took several classes on presidential politics and the like. And so that has found its way into my collection as well. So I have several games that deal with presidential elections. Revolution of 1828, Divided Republic. This is the 1860 election. That was kind of an important one in our history. Bull Moose, the 1912 election. That ended up giving us Woodrow Wilson, and Teddy Roosevelt got shot during the speech. Campaign Manager, 2008. And, I didn't do these in order. 1960, The Making of the President. This was early game by Jason Matthews, and this is kind of led to Twilight Struggle, I think. I think this predated Twilight Struggle, but some of the mechanics of that gave us that game as well. Excellent game there. So those are some of the presidential games I have, or presidential elections, but I also have several other political games. Founding Fathers, this is a game where you actually write the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution. That's a very interesting game there. And same designers as 1960, Making of the Presidents. Tammany Hall, about New York politics, but I don't even stick with U.S. politics all the time. Liberté, about the French Revolution. Die Mocker, German politics, and this is a very heavy political sim on German politics. But I still have even more agenda, and I don't even stop there. Here's the Politics of Cannibals. You don't want to lose that election. Anyway, so let's get to Corrupt Bargain here and see what is in the box for us in this game from Decision Games. It's a really sturdy box here. And I find interesting, Decision Games is, kind of branching out. It's not just war games or war game magazines, for that matter. They've starting to develop some games, like Bleeding Kansas, and I can't think of another one right now. But Bleeding Kansas is somewhat of a political game. It's the lead up to the American Civil War, and the kind of moving into Kansas and the conflict between slave and anti-slave states. And then we have Corrupt Bargain. This is the 1824 presidential election. John Quincy Adams, son of John Adams, Henry Clay, William Crawford, and Andrew Jackson. So here we go. Nice, good, sturdy, thick box there from Decision Games. The map is sealed for your protection. We'll open that up and see what that is all about. Here's your game rules, and here's your sequence of play. I kind of like it when they use the dead space on the back, so you can just leave that out there and you can have a sequence of play instead of just having a back either blank or cover art or some kind of art. 15 pages of rules, and looks like there's some. This looks like history, so this is good. I do this for the history. So here's the write-up on the presidential election of 1824, starting on page 8. So you got like 7 pages of history, and the rules itself is only 7 pages. So there you have it. So you've got your map, introduction, rules, there's cards, there's cubes. Don't be afraid of cubes, people. So you're going to have event cards, politician cards, populist cards, state cards, and here's how you win. Here's the setup, turn sequence. I mean, not kind of small print. I mean, that's what Decision Games does, but not a ton of rules there. And here, each section is relatively short. Event cards, actions, insight, final push, electoral college, breaking ties, contingent elections, ultimate tiebreaker, 4-player game, quick play rules, and historical start option. So yeah, this game, you basically start out, I think it's relatively symmetrical, but you can do the historical start option, which kind of gives each of the candidates a little bit more of an advantage where they would have had that historically. So that's the rules. Not a lot there, okay? Which is good. I don't want my political simulations to be overly complicated. These look like they're player aid cards. They're decent sized cardboard. You've got your actions, you've got your insight, and then you've got your sequence of play. So campaign turns, final push, electoral college, and contingent election. So there's your sequence of play. So there's 4 of these for 4 players because there are 4 candidates. You're going to get cards. We'll crack those open. You're going to get more cards. We'll crack those open. And there's even some more cards. These are tiny cards. These are state cards there. And you get a bag of bags that inside those bags are cubes. So don't be afraid of cubes, people. There we go. I'm going to go over each one of these cubes individually as part of this unboxing. No. So you got all kinds of, you got different color. You got some short octagon type cubes. You've got some regular cubes. And you've got 4 different colors, I assume, that match up with the 4 different candidates. And then you have some black round cubes, which look like they might be like markers or administrative type markers of some sort. So you got red, yellow, blue, and green with some black administrative type stuff. Let's open up the map and see what we have there. Oh, here we go. It's a mounted map. Gotta like that. I grew up on Avalon Hill games, so I grew up with the expectations of a mounted map or mounted board. But then again, your mileage may vary. So there we go. We have the map here. So this is the election of 1824. So these are the states in play here. And you got some capitals. Those kind of play in. I read up a little bit of that's legislative vote and popular vote. So here's your popular vote, then here's legislative vote. Here are some boxes for the really small states because you're not going to be able to put a bunch of cubes or whatever you need to put in there. So you have some boxes off to the right here for those smaller states. And then the cards go here, and there's kind of I think a purchase system maybe, or how you select the cards or whatever. And then there's this kind of an order track here or something like that. Again, I got to read up on this a whole lot. There's not a lot out there on that. I think Callendale played this game. I think he got a advanced copy maybe from Decision Games, and did some play did one of his playthrough. His way is the only way he can do a playthrough, which is totally unique from almost everybody else, but insightful nonetheless. So here's some of the cards here. You have the politician cards, and decent cards. Not super thin, but not really thick. Kind of stiff. So it'd be interesting to see how these hold up over time. I don't know if you'd have to do a lot of shuffling in this game, but quite a few politician cards here. Then we get to the populist cards. So these are the politician cards. And +1 hexagon in Mississippi. I got to read up on what that means, but I imagine there's going to be some kind of put in your influence in the states, and then you'll get the votes. And then if you have enough votes under the Electoral College, then you win the election. That's usually how the election works, but who knows? So this is probably a matter of how you get influence. And there's cubes and there's these hex things, so there might be different types of influence or different types of how you do certain things. I know, for example, like in 1960, the making of the president, which is the Nixon-Kennedy election, there's like a whole media thing, and there's this pulling cubes out of a bag to kind of give you some momentum. God, I haven't played that in a while, but I really want to. Let's just pull this off the table and play that one. But that's an excellent game. But this looks interesting as well. I have read some stuff on this, that this really wasn't meant, maybe I got that from Callendale, but I think I was watching something else on another YouTube channel. Hey, Missouri. That this is meant to be more of a game than an actual simulation. I mean, so this is not, you're not necessarily going to get the purest historical result out of this. This is meant to be a game, and that's always a kind of a push-pull, right, on these type of games, on war games especially, but any political games as well, of how much do you want to simulate and try to have it accurately reflect what happened and to predict what would happen again, versus being a game. And so having both sides have equal chances of trying to win or do what they need to do to win. And I think this errs on the side of being more of a game. So this is populist cards. So this is, I don't know what the difference is. You got these politician cards that look a lot like the populist cards. They're putting, this put cubes in. Okay, I got you now. So this one puts that hex thing in there, a hexagon little cube, and this one puts the cube in there. So yeah, so now I know how to play the game. So there's those cards. Let's look at these. These are events. What else do we got in here? If any of you have played this game, and that includes you, Callendale, if you're watching this. I don't think you watch my stuff. If you do, hey, chime in. Tell me all about what you regurgitate your entire series on my comment section. Love to see that. So these are more politician cards here at the end. So these goes with the politician deck. And these are events. So this is going to have something that happens here, with the cubes, and then drawing cards, and then they give you some historical. I like the historical text they have on these. And then you have some of these symbols up here. I imagine that's slavery, that's westward expansion maybe, that's commerce maybe, I don't know. So you got these three symbols. I wonder what that does. That's going to factor in, maybe those are policies or what you lean towards for your position or something like that, I would imagine. In a political game, you always have to have some kind of representation of the platform or the political stances that the sides have. So those are the event cards that you get there. And then we got these state cards here. Let's see what we have here on the state cards. But if anybody's played this game, love to see your thoughts on it, or if you haven't played it but are interested in it or not interested in it, then for certain reasons, feel free to comment and put those reasons out there. If you played any of the other games I rattled through at the beginning of this, feel free to put comments on that. I'll also put a video I did before. I did a video on election day, several election days back, and talked about some of these games as well, or some of this type of format or political games. And so I'll put a link to that in there so I can keep my politics together. Interesting. So New York. So I think New York is split. Yeah, there's got a split there. That's interesting how that, I don't know the history of that, but New York has kind of had a split vote, I guess. Kind of the way I think like Maine is now, maybe. I don't know. So anyway, so these are your state cards. So that is what you get in a box of Corrupt Bargain. You get quite a few cards. You got cube cards, you got hex cube cards, you got event cards, and you got state cards, you've got player aids, you've got cubes galore. You get rules, which are only like 7 pages of rules, but you also have 7 to 8 pages of history, which is awesome in my opinion, and that's only my opinion. And then you get the box and a lid. Thank goodness for that. Anyway, that's what you get in a box of Corrupt Bargain. Again, love to hear your thoughts on this or on anything you want to talk about. I've got time. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for spending some time with me. I can't stress how much I appreciate that, and amazed by it. Amazed that you will actually listen to me prattle about something. But hopefully you're finding something interesting here. Hopefully this will gauge your opinions on this game or other games or the like. So thanks for stopping by and have a great one. Thanks for watching.